Before you go creating your very first variable, there's a couple things you should be aware of. The first thing is a variable cannot start with a digit. And the second thing is a variable cannot start with a period. Let's go ahead and demonstrate this right now. I'm going to create a variable called 7 nines. That'll be the number 7 followed by the word nines, and I'm just going to assign it to an empty string. We'll save it, and we'll tell Regina to go ahead and run this. And you notice we get an error message. And it says, hey, the name starts with a number or a period. So we're going to clear this screen now, and we're just going to reuse this variable up here, 7 nines. However, this time we're going to add a period to it. We're going to save it, and we'll run it one more time. And this time we get a little bit of a different message, and it says unrecognized reserved symbol. Now remember, last time we got an error saying, hey, this variable can't start with a digit or a period. So why can't it have a period in it? In REXX, when we have a variable with a period, it means we're trying to create a special type of variable called a compound variable. And that's basically a fancy way of saying we're creating an array. However, we're not going to cover compound variables. I consider that to be an advanced topic. So just remember, when you're creating variables, they can't start with a period and they can't start with a number. One more thing to note about variables, if you forget to assign a variable before you use it, the variable becomes its own name in uppercase. And this is a common source of bugs if you're not careful. Let's go ahead and demonstrate this now. I'm going to use the say command, which is basically the print line command. We'll save this and run it in Regina. And you notice that it actually prints out the word name in all capitals. And this is because anytime REXX encounters an uninitialized variable, it initializes that variable with the name of the variable in all caps. Alright, now that we've got some gotchas out of the way, let's take a look at how we can fix this. So in REXX, just like a lot of other languages, we can initialize a variable using a name followed by the equal sign, and in this case, since it's going to be a string, double quotes. A note about strings is that they can be created using single or double quotes, and they will continue across multiple lines until the ending quote is found. So let's go ahead and save this, and we'll run it one more time in Regina. And now that we've initialized the variable, it says my name is Steven. Now here's where things get a little interesting, because in REXX, variables are case insensitive. So if I come up here and give ourselves a little space here, and I'm going to copy this line 2 more times, and this time we're going to say name with a capital N and a capital M, and we'll also say name in all caps. We'll save this, come down here, clear the terminal, and run it again, and whoops! You've noticed that I've made a boo-boo, and I've tried to access a variable that doesn't exist. Let's go back, press save, and run it one more time. And you notice now it correctly says my name is Steven 3 times, regardless of the case. Now, under the hood, REXX stores all variables as variable length strings. And then based on the contents of the variable, REXX behind the scenes does the heavy lifting to determine whether it's really a string or if it's a number. Let's go ahead and demonstrate this right now. We're going to create a variable called name again, and we'll assign it the value of Steven. We're also going to create a variable called total rooms, and we'll assign it a value of 10. Now we're going to create one last variable, and it's going to be a number, but we're going to wrap it in a string, and this will be used to demonstrate REXX's ability to figure out the data type based on the contents of the variable. So let's create another variable called rooms, and we'll assign it a value of 10 inside double quotes. Now looking at this, we might assume that it's 2 strings in 1 digit. However, that's not the case because, again, REXX is figuring out the data type based on what the contents are. And we can demonstrate this using a special function called data type. Let's go ahead and come down a few lines and show you that. We're going to use data type. We'll do name. We'll do another for total rooms. And we'll do one final data type on rooms itself. We're going to save this, come down here to the terminal, and we'll run Regina. And you can notice that it has indeed figured out that this is a number despite being cast as a string.